Good morning. So, coming up, you will have an assignment called an annotated bibliography, which will require you to find 5 sources for your final paper. Your final paper should consist of looking at one work by one author, and you will incorporate some of the research that you found through your annotated bibliography in order to back up your overall thesis. So starting from library resources in your Canvas shell, you would just go ahead and click on that. And what I actually recommend is starting out with library databases. So these are a list of library databases that could work for you in terms of some of your research. And I'm just going to go ahead and click into Gale Literary Sources. Now, obviously, you want to focus on databases that specify in American literature. Now, in terms of your advanced search, first of all, you're going to need to know what your final topic is about or the work that you are researching. So in my case, I am going to write a paper, let's say, about the fall of the House Usher. Okay, it comes right up. Maybe in the second line, just to make it clear, I'll add the author's name. And then I click search, right? So what you specifically want to look for are literary criticisms. You don't want to use overviews, and you don't want biographies of Poe. You click into the article, kind of scan through it. If it looks like it's relevant, then what you want to do is go ahead and click on the send to link and email it to yourself. So I suggest using your My Thomas Nelson email, but you can use any email. Now, another thing that you may want to do for your annotated bibliography, just to prepare for it, is click on the Cite button and highlight this and drop it into a Microsoft Word document. The reason being, an annotated bibliography includes first a citation of the source and then a summary of the source. We'll get into details about that in a few more weeks, but this would save you potentially a little bit of time in terms of having to go back to the source itself. Now we're going to go back to the results. There doesn't seem to be a lot there, so we are going to just do another search and take the author's last name out. Click search again. Okay. And so excluding Poe, for whatever reason, has brought up more results. But the thing is, you, again, have to really make sure that the results actually talk about the short story, that it's not necessarily a biography or an overview or a summary of the short story, and that it focuses on the fall of the House Usher. And as you can see here, some of these results may use the title Fall of the House Usher in the article, but something like this, Deconstructing Catherick Anne Porter, Strange Fruit and Fig Tree, clearly suggests that the article itself is not about the short story. So ultimately what you want to do is you want to find 5 resources that look specifically at the final work that you've chosen for your final paper. Now, if this doesn't work for you, or you haven't found 5 resources, what I recommend is just going back and doing more searches using library databases. So another popular database to use is JSTOR. I'm going to click into that. And I'm going to type in Fall of the House Usher. Okay. And I'm going to keep it in quotes, and what that does is it keeps the phrase together. Click search. And nothing came up, so I did something wrong with that search. Let me see. Maybe it's not exactly spelled Paul the House Usher. Maybe it's House Usher. Give it a try. Okay. So yeah, this is a teachable moment. Obviously, small mistakes like that can make all the difference in terms of the results that you pull up. And you can see in JSTOR we have 6,459 results, which is probably too much. And so the first thing that I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to filter by journals. And I'm going to filter by book chapters. Book chapters are actually okay too. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go down and I'm going to click on the subject area. I'm going to make sure this is this literature related topic. And so let's see here. Where's the literature? So I'm going to click on this subject right here. It's going to filter it a little bit more. We still get way too many results. And again, the thing that you want to look at specifically is, does the article itself look at the book or the short story or the poem that you're analyzing for your final paper? So it's not a biography about Edgar Allan Poe. It's not a summary of the short story. It looks specifically and conducts essentially a close reading, which we've already done, of the work that you've chosen. Now, in terms of JSTOR, you have the option to download the PDF, but you can also email it to yourself. And as well, if you go over onto the left-hand side, you can copy the citation and you can put it into a Microsoft Word document. Now, the key thing to keep in mind is that you have to find 5 resources. They all have to come from library databases. They cannot come from Google. And they cannot be, again, biographies or summaries of the overall source. So this is just a preliminary sort of overview of what you're going to do for your annotated bibliography. If you're nervous about it or you've never done an annotated bibliography before, don't hesitate to reach out to me. But as I indicated, there will be more sort of steps and advice and instructions coming up in the next few weeks.